Excuse me, we'd like you to have this flower from the Church of Religious Conscience.
They say, see a broad to get that booty yak 'em? Leg her down or smack 'em, yak 'em. Code got to be.
Flight 209er, you are cleared for takeoff.
Roger. Huh?
LA departure frequency 123.9er.
Roger. Huh?
Excuse me? Cream? No, thank you. I take it black. Like my man.
Oh my God, the automatic pilot, it's deflating!
Wait, don't panic.
What the hell's going on up there?
Before Airplane became one of the funniest movies ever made, there was another film, a deadly serious thriller from the 1950s that told almost the exact same story. The same pilot, the same dialogue, the same food poisoning disaster, and in some scenes, nearly the same camera angles. But here's the crazy part. The creators of Airplane weren't trying to hide it. They legally bought the rights to the original movie because they planned to copy it almost scene by scene. Today, we're diving into 15 unbelievable facts behind Airplane, the comedy classic that's secretly borrowed from a forgotten film. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never watch Airplane the same way again. So buckle your seatbelt and prepare for departure. Fact 1, 0 hour, was the blueprint.
I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here. Down, get a hold of yourself.
Please let me handle this.
I've got to get
Calm down, now get back to your seat. I'll take care of this. Calm down. Calm down. Get off your seat.
Doctor, you're one on the phone. Everything's going to be all right. Please, don't worry about yourself. I've got to get out of here. Out of here. I've got to get out of here.
Released in 1957, 0 Hour was a serious aviation thriller about a traumatized war pilot forced to land a passenger plane after the crew becomes sick from food poisoning. More than 20 years later, the creators of Airplane watched the film on television and couldn't stop laughing, not because it was supposed to be funny, but because it played every dramatic moment with complete seriousness. The Zucker brothers and Jim Abrahams immediately saw potential. Instead of creating a traditional parody, they decided to remake the movie almost exactly the same way, but surround every dramatic moment with absurd comedy. The structure stayed identical. The pilot stayed identical. Even the emotional beats remained. Most audiences had no idea Airplane was secretly built on another movie. But if you watch them side by side today, the similarities are impossible to ignore.
Joey, here's something we give our special visitors. Would you like to have it?
We have something here for our special visitors. Would you like to have it?
Airplane didn't just parody 0 Hour, it practically rebuilt it. Fact 2, the main character barely changed. In 0 Hour, the hero is Ted Stryker, a former war pilot haunted by a terrible mission from his past. In Airplane, his name becomes Ted Stryker, and that's basically the only major difference. Both men are emotionally broken. Both are terrified of flying. Both are trying to win back the woman they love, and both are forced to overcome their trauma to save a plane full of passengers. The famous line, "I haven't flown since the war," exists in both movies. In 0 Hour, it's tragic. In Airplane, it becomes hilarious because Robert Hayes delivers it with absolute seriousness while chaos erupts around him. That contrast became the secret weapon of the movie. The comedy worked because the actors treated everything like real drama, and Ted Stryker became one of the most iconic parody characters ever created. Fact 3, the dialogue was copied almost word for word.
I'll see if I can find some Dramamine.
Just a moment, I'll get you some Dramamine.
Sir, excuse me,
Are you a doctor?
That's right.
We have a passenger who's very sick.
could you come take a look?
Yes, of course.
One of the strangest discoveries for movie fans is just how much dialogue Airplane copied directly from 0 Hour. Entire conversations in the cockpit are nearly identical. Emergency discussions, passenger announcements, medical updates, even dramatic speeches were lifted almost line for line. The difference wasn't the words, it was the delivery. In 0 Hour, the dialogue creates tension. In Airplane, the exact same lines become comedy because absurd things are happening in the background. A terrified passenger screaming, a nun slapping someone, chaos exploding around serious dialogue. The writers understood something brilliant. Comedy becomes funnier when it's treated seriously. And by keeping the original dramatic structure intact, every joke hit even harder. Fact 4. The child passenger scene was reused.
You ever been in a cockpit before?
No, sir, I've never been up in a plane before.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
Do you want me to check the weather, Clarence?
No, why don't you take care of it?
One of Airplane's most famous scenes involves a little boy named Joey visiting the cockpit. The pilot talks to him, the music softens, and then the conversation slowly becomes awkward and ridiculous. But here's the twist. That scene already existed in 0 Hour. The child was still named Joey. The cockpit visit still happened. The emotional setup remained the same. Airplane simply twisted the tone. Instead of heartfelt drama, the scene became uncomfortable comedy. And because the setup was copied so carefully, audiences never saw the joke coming. It's one of the clearest examples of how Airplane transformed drama into absurdity without changing the structure underneath. Fact 5. The food poisoning plot stayed identical.
Every passenger on this plane who had fish for dinner will become violently ill in the next half hour.
Just how serious is it, Doctor?
The disaster at the center of Airplane wasn't original either. In both movies, passengers become violently ill after eating contaminated fish. The crew slowly collapses one by one. Panic spreads across the aircraft, and the only hope becomes the traumatized ex-war pilot on board. Even the famous fish or chicken references came directly from 0 Hour. The filmmakers kept the tension structure completely intact, but instead of fear, they layered comedy over every scene. Vomiting passengers, over-the-top reactions, ridiculous visual gags. Yet underneath the jokes, the original thriller still exists. And that's why the movie feels strangely grounded despite all the insanity. Fact 6. The creators bought the rights to avoid lawsuits.
What kind of plane is it?
Oh, it's a big, pretty white plane with red stripes, curtains in the window, and wheels, and it looks like a big Tylenol.
The similarities between Airplane and 0 Hour were so extreme that the filmmakers feared legal trouble. So before production began, they officially purchased the rights to 0 Hour. That decision gave them freedom to copy scenes, dialogue, and story structure legally. At the time, most parody films simply changed enough details to avoid lawsuits. But Airplane followed the original so closely that the creators knew they needed protection. Ironically, buying the rights became one of the smartest decisions they ever made. Because once audiences started comparing the two movies years later, the similarities became legendary. Fact 7. Leslie Nielsen was known for serious roles.
You'd better tell the captain we've got to land as soon as we can. This woman has to be gotten to a hospital.
A hospital? What is it?
It's a big building with patients.
Before Airplane, Leslie Nielsen wasn't known as a comedy actor. He spent decades playing serious authority figures in dramas and thrillers, doctors, military officers, police captains. That's exactly why the filmmakers cast him. They wanted actors who looked completely believable while saying ridiculous things, and Nielsen delivered perfectly. His deadpan performance as Dr. Rumack became iconic, especially the line, "Surely you can't be serious," followed by, "I am serious and don't call me Shirley." That moment transformed his entire career. After Airplane, Nielsen became one of the biggest comedy stars in Hollywood, and it all started because he treated nonsense with absolute seriousness. Fact 8. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar almost refused the film.
Denver it is.
Sorry, Clarence. Latest weather report shows everything socked in from Salt Lake to Lincoln.
NBA superstar Kareem Abdul-Jabbar nearly turned down Airplane. The filmmakers wanted him because his towering height made him look believable as an airline pilot. But Kareem initially refused, not because he disliked the script, because he wanted more money. The producers couldn't afford his asking price. So instead, they reportedly offered him airline tickets. Kareem accepted, and his scenes became unforgettable, especially when the little boy recognizes him as a basketball player mid-flight. The joke worked because audiences instantly recognized Kareem, even though the movie desperately pretended he was a normal pilot. Fact 9. The studio thought the movie would fail. When Airplane was first screened for studio executives, many didn't understand the humor. The comedy moved too fast, the jokes never paused, and absurd visual gags filled almost every scene. Some executives believed audiences would be confused. Others thought the humor was too strange. But the filmmakers trusted their instincts. Instead of slowing the jokes down, they added even more. That decision changed comedy forever, because Airplane proved audiences loved rapid-fire humor. And future films like The Naked Gun and Scary Movie would later borrow the same style. Fact 10. Almost every scene contains a joke.
Could I borrow your guitar? I thought maybe I could cheer her up.
Oh, of course.
Thank you.
One reason Airplane became endlessly rewatchable is because the filmmakers packed jokes into nearly every frame. Background signs, passenger reactions, random announcements, visual gags hidden behind dialogue. Some jokes appear for less than 2 seconds. The filmmakers intentionally overloaded scenes with comedy so audiences would discover new jokes every time they watched. That approach was unusual at the time. Most comedies paused between punchlines. Airplane never stopped. And that non-stop energy became part of its legend. Fact 11. The autopilot dummy became a pop culture icon.
Now, one more thing. Somebody there who can work the radio and leave you free for flying.
One of the strangest characters in the film isn't even human. Otto, the inflatable autopilot, became one of Airplane's most unforgettable running jokes. The absurd idea perfectly represented the movie's humor, completely ridiculous, treated totally seriously. Audiences loved Otto immediately, and despite barely speaking, the inflatable dummy became one of the most recognizable comedy characters of the 1980s. It's proof that Airplane could turn even the dumbest idea into comedy gold. Fact 12. The filmmakers used real disaster movies for inspiration. Airplane didn't only borrow from 0 Hour. The creators also studied dramatic disaster films from the 1970s. Movies like Airport and The Towering Inferno inspired the movie's style. The serious lighting, the dramatic music, the emotional acting, everything was designed to feel authentic. That realism made the comedy stronger, because visually Airplane looked like a genuine disaster movie. The audience laughed because the world felt real. Fact 13. The movie revived spoof comedy. Before Airplane, spoof movies weren't dominating Hollywood, but after its massive success, studios realized parody films could become huge hits. The Naked Gun, Hot Shots, Scary Movie, Austin Powers, all of them owe something to Airplane. The movie reinvented modern parody by mixing dead serious performances with complete absurdity. And for many comedy fans, Airplane still remains the greatest spoof movie ever made. Fact 14. Audiences originally thought it was a real thriller. Early trailers confused some viewers because they looked almost identical to serious disaster movie advertisements. Dramatic narration, tense music, shots of panicked passengers. For a brief moment, audiences genuinely believed Airplane might be a real thriller. Then the jokes started, and suddenly theaters exploded with laughter. That surprise became part of the experience, because audiences weren't prepared for how aggressively ridiculous the movie would become. Fact 15. Airplane changed comedy forever. Today, Airplane is considered one of the greatest comedy films ever made. Its influence can still be seen in modern internet humor, fast-cut editing, and deadpan comedy performances. But what makes the movie special isn't just the jokes, it's the structure underneath. Airplane worked because it respected the original drama. It treated the story seriously. And by doing that, it accidentally created comedy perfection. The film took a forgotten thriller from the 1950s and transformed it into one of the most beloved comedies in movie history. A parody so accurate, it became legendary. So the next time you watch Airplane and start laughing at the chaos unfolding on-screen, remember this. Underneath every joke was a real movie, a serious thriller that unknowingly became the blueprint for comedy history. And honestly, that might be the funniest part of all.